If you're catching the replay, welcome. I'm Steve. Mark's, I don't know if he's around. Hi, Mark. He's outside. And this is Smokeysteveandmarc. Mark. Welcome or welcome back, and happy Saturday. We're here a day early. I made an agreement with Mark that we would switch because he was still working on his video. So I said I would go tonight and that he would go probably tomorrow, but you know how Mark rolls. We're giving him some open-ended dates, completion dates on my end of things, just to keep some sanity. So I hope everyone's well and everyone's safe. The weather's been insane everywhere. We just got off of about a 5-day heat streak, and then it was okay, and then before that it was a few days. So we're gonna see how things go. Mike, hello, how are you? We are doing well. We are doing well. The cats are very excited about all their toys. They are very excited about all their toys. They're spoiled. Y'all spoil them because they get presents from viewers and stuff. So, but the kitties are good. I'm trying something new. I can't really see, but I don't really want to have you guys get stuck with me and glare the whole time. So we'll figure it out. Hey, Marlene, how are you? Hello, hello, everyone. As this is going to be a dinner with Steve, here's dinner. So we're having ramen again because it sounded like it. And I tried out a new recipe. So they're kind of like chicken satay, sort of. I mean, I cut them off the things, but they were grilled chicken. And the marinade is, I'll spoil it now, peanut butter and Italian dressing. Don't look at me like that. You gotta try it. It's good. I was gonna make a whole video about it. Maybe I'll make a short, but 1 cup Italian dressing, vinaigrette from the store prepared, and 1/2 cup of peanut butter. And then you cut the chicken into strips and put it in there and then grill it. And you think it's going to be burnt from the black parts, but they're the sweet caramelized peanut buttery bits. So good. I can't get Mark to eat it. As soon as I said peanut butter, he was like, no. So it's got a wink and a nudge to like some Asian thoughts. That's as far as it's going to get, I think. But I'm telling you, it was good if you're feeling brave. Every Thursday. Every day is a good day for ramen. Every day is a good day for ramen. I have a bunch in the cabinet, and then I have the bricks. Like, this is one of the little brick ones we'd get in college. And then, yeah, the other ones are you just add hot water and it... So. What? Don't burn the bread. It'll all be a wash if you burn the bread. Yeah, as we're settling in, we'll catch up a little bit today with our fair lady, Shantel. She was in the hospital, and guess why? So she did that, and then I was just checking her community posts, and apparently she's sharing that they met goal with all the money that she was panhandling by pushing that special needs girl in front of her and asking for money. Chantal was making it seem like it worked, and she met goal, which I can't tell is either disgustingly true or a disgusting lie that Chantal is telling to try to gin up more money. Maybe if people think other people are giving, they'll give too. So I'll say a lot of money was donated. Either there's a lot of it, well, there is a lot of idiots out there, but there's a lot of smart people too. I don't know. Anyway, so that was the latest nonsense that was going on with her. She was in a rural Syrian hospital. Said she hadn't eaten in 4 days. She was sick. Everyone who ate the food that she cooked was sick. Hi, Irene. How are you? Hi, Eileen. How are you? We have like a proper noodle house around here somewhere. Not like a chain one. I don't know where. We did really good. I think I told you guys last week, Mark and I ordered from a place called Kajumbo's Wings and Pizza. No, Wings and Chinese food. And it was some of the better Chinese food I've had in Scranton, to be honest with you. But just the name, Kajumbo. I was like, it's going to be one of those urban places that has like a weird combination of foods, like where you can get fried chicken wings and fried rice, or you can get like a fish box, a 2-piece and a biscuit, and then, some dumplings on the side. So, hey Panda, how are you? We're living large here. You know. Good thing it's not a mukbang. I usually don't like... If I was selling the sloppiness of this, then maybe I would, but I don't know. It's bad enough that I have some moderately sloppy eating habits anyway, let alone to try to monetize them. Does everything have to be about money anymore? I can't even have any gross habits without selling them? God. So, but yeah, definitely go for it with the chicken. Very good. I brought my other phone with me. Other phone. I have one for work, I have one for play. So, I'm just looking back at the videos she had out for the week. She just put one up 8 seconds ago. Did she go live? She says she thinks she lost some weight. No, of course she didn't lose any weight. She shows an 8-second video from here down, and to give a perspective of her body, asking if we think she's lost weight. She thinks because she's had to shit for a few days because she made nasty food for vulnerable people. You gotta understand, these people live in the third world and cook and prepare food for themselves every day. They probably have a rather strong constitution. Whatever she put in that shit was so ick that, you know, made everybody sick. I wouldn't be surprised if she had, you know, travelers' digestive problems, but she has every kind of digestive problem, usually. So, I mean, I guess that wouldn't be too surprising. But she said she lost 10 pounds. She could lose 10 pounds of water, Eileen. I mean, I know she thinks that, but she could. You know, she's not going to lose 150 pounds of water, but, you know. Smith, hello, how are you? I could see 10. 4 days of a 400-pound woman not eating or drinking much, she could lose 10 pounds. Thing is, though, she thinks she lost 10 pounds so she can gain 10 pounds back. What'll happen is, a few glasses of water, that comes back, plus the KFG, because she's such a wilting fucking flower now, that she's gonna have to go back and get some fast food to get her juices flowing again. She's not her without fast food. She's like a whole other person. She's like Miriam. By the way, does it seem like she's going by Miriam now amongst these people? Apparently she's going to be moving into the Sala family home, which I can only imagine what that looks like now. Syria wasn't where he was looking to be. It was where he was looking to leave. So having to come back and try to build a life in a place you vacated in your childhood is probably a very upheaving thing for him. I don't particularly like Sala, but that doesn't take away that his life has been completely turned upside down in a way that I bet he didn't expect. I think he went in with bad intentions to take advantage of her. I think she totally won that contest. But you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. She's squatting in Syria. She burned so many bridges that this was her next best option. Syria. In a field hospital. And they tried to send her home, and she said, no, I need to stay longer to make sure I'm not allergic to the medication. I'm sure they had air conditioning at the hospital. It's, you know, even if it was a kind of scattershot, thrown together situation. But she just wanted to get out of the heat, and she wanted some special attention. The problem is she's not going to be able to stay in the ER for 12 hours like they do in Canada. She's used to sitting there for 8 hours, killing time, and then talking to the doctor, and it's this long experience. C. diff to the what? Yes. Yes. Her husband moved out of the apartment they were in, and they're staying with friends. Yes, this friends thing is different. So they had to move, and then quickly had to move. The picture where she's claiming to have lost weight. Yeah, I just saw the fucking post right now, Janet. She doesn't look thinner. She doesn't look appreciably fatter. But there's no applause to be held for staying over 250 pounds overweight for 30 years. That's nothing to applaud. 10 pounds? That's nothing. That is absolutely nothing. 1.5 days of scant eating and fluids and she would lose 10 pounds. I don't believe for a second she didn't eat for 4 days. She'd think she'd die. She used it as an excuse to get these poor people to probably wait on her hand and foot. No, she's not thinner. How can you pat your belly and talk about losing weight in the same thing? I don't get that. I don't get it. I don't get it. But, I'm not just blowing smoke. This peanut butter Italian dressing thing is good. Um, again, I got to go back to her burning bridges and all the people she can't go to for help. The closest thing she has to family is the guy who was scamming her to try to move to Canada. That's her family. That's it. And so I will follow him. And she did. And then she followed him so closely, and she was so much of her brazen self, she got his ass thrown out of the place he ran to, and now he had to be sent back to the place he ran from. So I'm sure he was thrilled with her. I'm sure he thought, if everything goes according to plan, this time next year, I'll be back with it in Syria with her, dragging her liability ass around. If she didn't have a paycheck, I don't think they'd have anything to do with her. Now, that's cruel, but that's what's happening too. I mean, everyone's taking advantage of each other, and everyone's having what looks like negative consequences from it. So the fun in watching is for most of us. You know, I like to think it's interesting to watch play out. You know, you like to think bad things happen to bad people and good things happen to good people, and that's never set in stone, obviously. But try to think, if she's treating him poorly and he's treating her poorly, who's going to have consequences from it? And they kind of pass these consequences back and forth to each other. It's kind of has this same S&M element to it, but it's on a much more level than hers was with Matters. It's still power games. It's still a lot of power games. Burden with a passport, Andy, and she still has her uses. She loses that passport or she loses that monetization, they're going to be picking her bones out of the sand. She'd be absolutely useless. Do you think they all wanted to stop their day and go to the hospital? In the middle of everything? Do you think they wanted to hear, no, I don't want to go home, I want to stay in the hospital? And she doesn't have the access to her money that I think she wishes she had. Which is whatever, that's part of the situation. When you live 5 lives, you're going to have a few places you have to do things. But this puts the access to her own money further and further and further away, too. It keeps it farther out. She has to have help to go get it. She has to cross the border to go get it. She has to go somewhere else. She'll probably need a ride. So this whole situation, I don't like her there. I feel like she's just the type of person to like latch on and leech off of. Like now she's a leech on the Syrian healthcare system, which there really isn't too much of one. You're back, Patrick. You're good. You didn't miss much. I'm sure in a country that's rebuilding, after long periods of not building, that some nuts and bolts are going to have to get worked out. And I can't believe, of all things, when she was sick for 4 days, that when she was sitting there, you know, shitting and couldn't eat and couldn't whatever, that she was so happily bouncing the special needs child on her knee to say, hey, see this cute vulnerable thing? I'm going to pay for it somehow. So send the money to me and I'll make sure it happens for her. Which is dishonest. I know how Shantel thinks because I used to think like her because she's going to collect all that money if there's any. Now, she just put up a community post. Where is it? Because she just had that damn video up. Not you. I don't have, like, logged into YouTube Red on one of my other phones, so. Most recent community post from her was 2 hours ago, and this was in regards to the little girl. Thank you so much to everyone who's donated to Sasa. We appreciate you so much. We met the goal and then a bit more, so over 1,000 apparently. We have a video update in the near future featuring her, but this will cover school fees, supplies, transportation. She's got nothing else to troll on, so she's got to use a situation where she's taking advantage of someone else to have money sent to her. Why don't she have the money sent to the school? I'm sure if they're charging 1,000 in tuition, they're a little more put together than just some plain old public school that's totally underfunded. I also think for $1,000, Shantel could probably dig through a pile of clothes and have enough money to pay for what she says other people should be giving. Supplies is vague. Here's what she's going to do. She says, well, the money's going to come to me. I'm going to buy the supplies. It's not going to happen all right away, so I'll get the money when it comes. And then as she needs supplies, I'll buy them. Okay? It's like, not math. It's not that hard. What it means is I'm going to keep the money now. And then hopefully things fall through. And she'll buy her the cheapest shit. I mean, if everything costs a wooden nickel, then why would you have a telethon to try to get extra money for someone else? When you obviously need it yourself. Don't act like you don't. When you obviously need it yourself, and then push somebody else up front and say, oh, just because I'm broke doesn't mean this has anything to do with the fact that I'm manipulating this situation. An idiot with good intentions could do something like this. She doesn't have good intentions. And she likes to say, how can you know? It's between me and my maker kind of bullshit. She's not giving the money. She needs the money now. So she wanted the money now, so they sent the money now. She'll deal later with how she has to make it look like she spent it or lies about it. She's collected money for bullshit before and kept it. Her thinking is that if you don't make a whole lot, it wasn't really a scam. What she means is it's not a successful scam. You know, nice round number for her schooling. Yeah, it wasn't $783 for tuition. It was a nice 1,000. She's going to jam herself up because if these folks see her putting people on camera and find all of a sudden money is being sent, what Shantel's going to do is put a whole round robin of unfortunate people on camera, like she's the great white hope who's saving this rural village. I don't know, Eileen. I think that's fair. I don't think she does much for anyone. It's all transactional. I know so much of life is like marriage, for example. People say, oh, it's all for the love and nothing else, and love conquers all. Well, yeah, but there's some bit of transaction that goes on even in a committed emotional relationship. You have to, one person does this for the other person to do that. There's not highly abusive, manipulative transactions necessarily, like there was with her and Natter, who's in jail. But Natter was not a good boy. He got caught because this time he hurt someone. So, hey Jay, how are you? Yeah, she could have set up a GoFundMe and send the money directly to there. Like, why would you throw yourself back into the roots of a fundraiser after you just got yourself jammed up with some dumb shit? You know? And for her, going to jail isn't the work. As long as she can bring her phone, she doesn't care where the fuck she goes. Because she'll try to turn it into content. But this digging through the sand, going through the country, roughing it, like she's treating it like outward bound. It's so disrespectful to people who are not there by choice, would maybe leave if they could. And they're not just killing time. Dee Dee had put up a community post that she was going to no longer be with Natter. And then a poll of docket systems showed that Natter had about 8 pending charges. I can be fact-checked here, but I think it was a lot. I think it was at least 8. And it's no one has directly drawn the line between he hit Dee Dee, Dee Dee had him arrested, they broke up, but that's, you know, the thinking that's happening. Is that he was unkind to her. And he was unkind to be in that situation anyway. People had a lot of problems with Natter being in that house with Dee Dee and Dee Dee's mom. Again, vulnerable people, vulnerable things being dragged out and manipulated for gain. And what gain? I don't know. Hey, all. Hey, Aunt Bupke, how are you? Bipke, how are you? I bet it was about her mom, too. You can only take so much. I mean, if you want to be I don't want to say it like that. If Dee Dee wants to put up with some level of abuse because it meets some needs of hers, fine, whatever. But her mom, with a fixed income, probably didn't sign up to sit around and have to be witness to her daughter being an alleged punching bag. So, Jamil, hello, hello. She put him in jail. So there we go. That's it. You know what she had? I guess? Evidence. She was with Natter a long time. He was, yeah. Well, I mean, I think people always kind of assumed that he was treating Dee Dee poorly in some way. And, you know, there's been accusations that he's been violent. So, you know, I don't think Shantel gets that this doesn't prove her case necessarily. I think she thinks because he's in jail, whatever I said he did must have been true because he did it to her too. Yeah, I don't know who's talking to Dee Dee now. Dee Dee doesn't have a really strong personality. I think she's probably under some other dude's maneuvering at the moment. Somebody was there for her when she had a big problem after this blew up with Natter, and that person who was so there for her she's fallen so suddenly in love with, and they're calling the shots. So I feel like there's somebody else with a bigger personality than Dee Dee's, stronger than hers, in the background, who's kind of directing things now. Because she obviously needs a lot of reining in, or she believes, or she gets into relationships, or she needs a lot of being held in. What would Natter have done with her? You know, he would have kept them very, very, very close. To see him abused on the internet and chased after him is insane. It is. It is. No one deserves to be abused. But nobody should be gaslighting abuse for money either. With the housing thing, now we have to understand, and I think most of us do because we've been around a while, Shantel going to the hospital is entirely a distraction. It's her smoke bomb this way so she can disappear stage left and go out. So she can get out of the line of fire. So either something in their little personal life needed a break quick, like something was going south. They were about to get moved or something like that. And she has to go to the hospital all of a sudden. It makes everything stop dead. And all the attention goes back to her again. She loves it. And she gets to sit in the air conditioning while she gets to pine for all the attention. I can't believe I would have loved to have been in the room when the doctor said, okay, you're discharged, see your doctor next week. And she said, no, I need to stay longer. Yes, I'm sorry. I guess you are the doctor. You need to stay longer. The smug. And she probably thinks, well, after she says in one video how incredibly superior Syria is to other places. Look, I'm sure it's got its charms. We don't get to pick where we're born. Okay? And almost every culture had traditions and recipes and religions and language and food and clothes and all that kind of stuff that goes with it, and that's fine. But I don't think she went over there to find herself among that. I think she's found herself there through a series of shitty choices. This wasn't the goal. When she said, I want to travel bees, she didn't mean this. She meant Thailand. You know. But now she's volunteered herself for the sake of survival to have to, I think, probably support more people. Which she'll like, because she'll feel like they're beholden to her. And, you know, this will take the place for her of what a family would have done. People she can kick around and manipulate. And make them do things for her. And if they get mad about it, blame them for having feelings at all. First world ER, they call the police. You're trespassing. I see it in the local news all the time, especially when it's winter and you'll get some homeless folks, or for whatever reason, you know, they need to be out of the cold. We don't have as many warming stations and stuff like that. People end up in the emergency room with some sort of vague backache because they don't want to sit out in 5-degree temperatures. So they end up taking up space in a hospital when they could be rerouted to somewhere warm where they might have been just fine. But upon discharge, they'll stay in the hospital. They won't leave. And they'll have to have the police come and say, you have to get off the property. Do you have any degree of separation from the Idaho mass killer from the Poconos? No personal degree of separation. He's one of those someone knew someone, like he's probably 3 degrees away, but I can't draw a straight line from me to him. You know, it's in the news every day because it's got the local tie-in, you know, so it's in the news every day. But you got guilty, all 4. So, I mean, there goes. Yes, Patrick, the turkey sandwich, the dry one, with the little packet of mayonnaise that's this big. And they bring you a Coke or a Pepsi, and it's this big. Or it's juice. I am 6 feet tall. I'm about 200 pounds. I got on the scale. I lost more weight. About 200 pounds. Those little juice cups aren't enough. They're not. And no, it's not a hotel. A hotel would be 1/4 of the cost. So, yeah, I think waiting in the ER for $1,000 a day, a large apple juice wouldn't be so awful. But no, in the first world, you get tossed. They're going to say stay. What's she going to say? I have to stay? On whose authority does she have to stay? All she could literally do is plant herself and not get up. Just, dead weight, make me move. Craziness. But the staying with friends thing, the residential changes, the changes that are happening sort of frequently. All of that going on behind the scenes. Oh, sort of front of behind the scenes. She's presenting it like it's this wonderful adventure. Oh, we're meeting new people and trying new things and trying new food that put us in the hospital for a week. And she said her grubby, dirty hands. I'm telling you. I swear those folks probably have a pretty strong constitution for a lot of reasons if they've been born and raised in that place. And she must sound like the biggest whiner to them, actually. I would think. The little ginger ales are good. The graham crackers are good. When you're in the psych ward, they used to have graham crackers and peanut butter all the time. She sees an end to this. This ends anytime she wants. Well, it did. Now, if she wants it to end, she might have to buy herself a few days, this way or that way. When she had the money in her pocket and the phone will travel, it doesn't matter how much money it is, she will find her way out of the situation and fly wherever she's calling home. Whichever bridge is the closest to being restructured. Which basically means Smee, her mother, will probably let her sleep in a car on her property. That's probably as close as it gets. Because her mother got dragged into the nonsense too. And next thing you know, her car's going to be towed out of her driveway. It'll happen very, very, very fast. So, I would love to be a fly on the wall. I would love to. I'm expecting they're all talking to each other. She's nervously laughing because she's embarrassed and nervous because she doesn't know what they're saying. And you know how she could solve that? Learn the fucking language! Learn any of them. See, here's the thing. What's one of those things that's like trashy when you're classy when you're rich and trashy when you're poor? Speaking more than one language. Oh, I speak 7 languages. The kid at the bodega speaks 3. He's 8. I'm not super duper impressed. We learn those as part of either education or as part of the community we're in. But, yeah. It's too much like work for her. It's too much like classroom stuff. She doesn't see that it would benefit her later. And delayed gratification is a good working definition of maturity. She's not good at delaying gratification. That in 3 years, I will be proficient enough to get my own ice cream. That I could get in the ER. That I could come and go and navigate places. She could live in the outhouse. She all but did a while. Muppet voice. Which Muppet voice? My favorite Muppet was the Swedish Chef. I just always thought it was what friends. Friends are what we're just calling these individuals that are in proximity to her, I guess. She doesn't have much intellectual curiosity, Patrick. I would think that she doesn't really get much into, she's not. What book did you read lately? She used to at least go to a movie or something. But then she got interested in people who didn't have interests in much other than drugs, sex, food, and drama. And that's it. So she's done nothing but like 4 years of it. Straight through COVID up to now. Well, thank you. Swedish Chef. I don't do a lot of voices. I have my voice. But as we all know from seeing other videos that Mark has done, I can't act at all. All right. We're going to take a break for a second here. She does. She has a very childlike approach to him. And I don't know if she thinks he finds that endearing. Maybe she thinks that he thinks it's cute. Maybe she's the way that another woman talks to him or the way he says he likes other women to talk. She tries to do it with him, be the submissive, the passive, But all this fawning and fainting doesn't really mean a whole lot when she's a walking purse. But for the fact that she has money, would she be there at all? If she hadn't burned all the other bridges because she was going to go live on love, I have cheekbones. I have cheekbones. I usually have glasses. I'm just trying to take a break for a second because usually it's all glare when I'm looking, so. You were in a book club. I always say when people say, what are your hobbies? I add reading in. I don't read as much as I do, such that I would say that. I mean, I read a lot of magazines and a lot of news. and a lot of nonfiction, but I don't read like Daniel Steele or any of that kind of stuff. So just not my thing. But as far as intellectual curiosity, it stopped. It stopped when she left. She's not interested in people with interests. She's dating these guys that are into like video games, and Natter was into cooking. So I don't know. But then, so she's in this shitty situation. What's next? She's not going to find success in continuously hitting people up for money for random different reasons every week. When she was making $20K a month, she could have bought the school that this little girl needs. Now she's out groveling on her behalf. I don't know. Kitty cat? Is there a kitty cat? No, no kitty cat. Oscar is now my official like bestie friend kitty cat. He will stay with me, sit with me all day. All day. If I'm feeling blue or a little sick or something. And what's going to happen to her when she dies? Potter's Field in Syria? I mean, that's the only thing I can guess, that she's going to have to go and, I'm not surprised she has some money, Jay. I'm not surprised that she has some coming in. I know she has memberships coming in, and memberships are like a fixed, semi-dependable amount of money coming in. I mean, not really if you're like her. She's so volatile that she could like gain and lose people. But once all you need is to get somebody to like you for 1 second, just long enough to click, and she's got you for the month. So, no, she just burns through all her money. She makes it, her spending habits are what destroy her financially. She makes enough money to live very comfortably. There's reactors to her who have made enough that they can make major life changes. Like, they don't have to work full time anymore, period. They invested ahead with the money. They bought property with the money. They paid taxes on the money so they can sleep at night knowing that what's theirs is theirs and it's not going to be all taken from them. So other people who are less successful than Shantel are doing much more with themselves financially than she is. And she can say, well, without me, you guys wouldn't have a channel. But who would she talk to? Who would she be popular among? In what big circles would Shantel be as popular as she is among people that don't like her? She'll never find that many people who think she's cool. She's too obnoxious. People don't like that shit. Like, that mean girl shit is over. Go to therapy. Maybe he can just ship her in a case of Beezer, a fragrance, and that way he can pretend like he's just sending an export. Oh, they can't export from there to there. I don't know what it would cost, but I think she would stay. That's the very sad ending of all of this. If she died in Syria, we'd find out later, vis-a-vis Salah, probably. He'd probably take access to her phone until the bill wasn't paid. I don't know. No one's going to know. No one's going to find out, and no one's going to care. I mean, I think access to her money is limited. She says that she has access to it. I think she knows that people thinking she doesn't is like a dig at her, that she's like, I'm in control of things. She's bottoming from the top. I'm submissive on my terms. I'm the doting housewife as long as we get KFG, as long as we do what I'm doing today. If you're not going to go get ice cream for me in a war zone, you don't really love me. Like those. That's all I gotta say, though. I thought that was riot when she was like, can you go get me ice cream? And he said no, and she was legitimately pissed. Like, there's smoke in the periphery. They can hear things exploding. And the bitch wants ice cream. Nothing wrong. Let me frame this. Nothing wrong with wanting comfort in a time of stress. I'll give her that. Food is her comfort. Ice cream is very comforting in a time of stress. The problem is the expectation that somebody has to get her what she wants. because she has to either manipulate them into doing it or pay them to get them to do it. Because when she was kind of burning bridges all over Canada when she was still there, it was all drivers, delivery food drivers, people dropping off weed, people dropping off whatever. And that was pretty much her life. She had Pete's in another part of the house, and she was trying to respect Natter's manliness, and so she wasn't sleeping on the same floor as Pete's. She was sleeping downstairs. Oh no, I like it. Now 2 days ago you have a blow up about where you sleep, and 2 days later, oh no, I like sleeping down here on the couch, sitting up. Instant gratification is really her big thing. She's addicted to more. Whatever it is, she wants more. More money, more food, more proof of love, more attention, more evidence that she's worthwhile. You know, having a man proves that she's lovable. Her talking about having intimacy with him means that she's, you know, desirable too. And it seems like she exaggerates or makes those things up. And, like, I don't know. You don't know what's going on off camera, but she knows. Hey, Pixie. She knows. In the privacy of her own mind, she knows what it looks like. If she's so far gone that she really does feel and see this life as good, then she's really not well enough to probably be abroad and needs a conservatorship. If they would do it to Brittany, they should do it to Shantel. Yeah. Literally, end of the earth for a man who doesn't like her that much. You can tell when, you know, you don't know what it's like off camera. She thinks she's the first woman to ever cover for a fact that her husband didn't like her. Like, but it's also like everyone else can see it but you, like relationship problems. I've had some now, looking back, that I was like, duh. Of course I was being stupid. Of course I was being dishonest, blah, blah, blah. But in the moment of doing it, I felt like I was in control. I felt like I was doing the right thing. I felt like I was on the high road. And, you know, time makes a fool out of so many of us. Looking back now, I'm like, how could I have done that? Why would I have acted like that? It's like, well, I didn't know any better. And so I acted like an asshole. And then I learned that I didn't act like that anymore. You know, growth on as such. But those kind of along the way life lessons, if you don't change when you learn them, you just alienate more and more and more and more people. Shantel talks about how she used to have friends. And I know this just because she drove. But she used to have friends. At least she got invited along because she drove. And she said she was known for canceling on them at the last minute. And she would blame it on her mental health and her anxiety and say, oh, I just can't go. I don't. So she might not be deliberately, maliciously ditching her friends, making plans and not going. But the bottom line for the friend is, I want to see you flake out every time we hang out. I'm just not going to make plans with you anymore because they fall through. Nothing personal, but why hang out? You don't seem to want to. And so I think she had that probably happen with several friends over a period of time. She likes the distance of the online friends because they're close enough when she needs them. She can get them immediately, turn on your phone, and these people will, you know, turn around and bend over for her. Ooh, don't bend over for Shantel. Don't. So that's where I'm at with her. But I said I hate to jump ahead, but like Potter's Field. One-sided friendships. Well, one-sided relationships, definitely she's had, and the friendships are the same. Every relationship she has is lopsided. They're all very lopsided. She's very heavy on the need side and very heavy on the like pushy side. It's not working for her. I mean, if she's learned so much on her life's journey that it's all culminated in this situation is the culmination of all her life's choices up till now. One more good decision. She's not built for it. Not anymore. She's getting too old. These people are getting sick of her, I'm sure. No one gets sick of money. And I think if I were in a place where I was in proximity to a woman I didn't really like, but my whole family was kind of depending on her for some support, I'd probably shut up and go along with it for a while. I would, because they're helping my family. You know, how can I say, anything about it? She knows this. So, garden this weekend was okay. They're doing some work on the roof on our building. Finally, they're doing the roof. They started a couple days ago, but they've been chucking shit off the roof into the yard, and that's where the garden is. So the garden's been pretty fine. All the rain's been good. All of that stuff's been good. But there was a little bit of damage from some roof shingles that came down and landed in the yard. So they didn't destroy the garden. They took off a piece of it. Mark was understanding it was probably going to happen, and he was okay when it did. I was like, don't freak out. Don't make a scene. Because you think he's the nice one. I'm the nice one. You think he's the nice one. I'm the nice one. I'm just not as chipper all the time. I have chipper moments, but I'm just, Mark's a little more out there, personable and chatty, and that's just probably why I'm attracted to him, because it's not me. On my baseline, no. I'm exhausted after lives. I have to be alone for a while. I love people. People have been absolutely life-saving to me. But it gets exhausting being around people too. Not because they're not good people, not because I don't like them, but because I run out of the ability to enjoy socializing after a while. So we balance each other out pretty well. Farmer's market, it's that time of year. Roadside tomatoes and roadside corn will be coming up, because we already got tomatoes coming in the back. There was some damage to my blackberry bush. I have to say I was not happy with the roofers, but nevertheless, it will be repaired, and we will have blackberries maybe next year. I had 4. I was waiting on them to grow. There's only enough for a garnish. There's not even enough to put on ice cream, but I wanted them. Those are my blackberries. So it didn't work. Maybe next year. Mark said, well, at least we won't have to trim it. Aside from all that, Mark has these different experiments from TikTok all over the porch. Like one of them, he has an apple buried halfway down, and it's stuck on top of a peach pit, and something's supposed to grow out of it in 52 days. It's some weird crap. The other one, he had grapes growing out of a banana, but the banana all but melted. So he has other projects going through the house, all like that. So, still going. There's a little girl, our neighbor. It's like one big building, but the neighbor next door in the next apartment down has a niece that comes up, and it's her secret garden. She loves going over to Mark's garden. This secret garden in his yard, because Mark has little toadstools and funny things for kids, and Mark likes miniatures, period. I didn't know about that he had an interest in that kind of thing until we were married, I think, a little while. We never got to that really, difficult, are you into railroad miniatures discussion. It didn't come up before the marriage. But he likes all that kind of stuff. Little Christmas villages, little train sets, those kind of things. Scranton is the Electric City, but Steamtown National Historic Site is here, and it's, steam trains. So once a year they put out this big model thing at the mall of all these little train cars and little town things that are built, and it's all very fussy. He loves that kind of thing. I couldn't be bothered. I don't care. I mean, I liked my sister's dollhouse when I was little because I was that kid. I liked her dollhouse. I liked it better. I liked gender neutral kind of toys mostly. I liked my bike. I played ball, basketball, baseball, but I mean, all that stopped when I was 13. Maybe 13. Then I became too deep and brooding. And of course I got spit out the end of choir and theater club by the end of high school, like every other closeted gay kid. So 6 weeks into college, came out and started to find my place in the world. But prior to that, it was all just tap dancing at lies. Celebrating Appalachia. Let's mention it to him. He is hard to get on YouTube. He'll get stuck on a channel once in a while and want to see a bunch of them, but he can't sit still. He's my mother. He can't sit still long enough to watch a movie. And if he does, he falls asleep halfway through. So it's just not his. He doesn't sit down easily and watch stuff. But I'll mention it to him, definitely. Because when he does find stuff, when he does like to watch at night, it's like woodsy stuff, spooky stuff. Um, One of the things he'll search a lot that we'll watch before bed is like spooky camping stories, like 6 real life true camping horror stories. People who get come up on in the woods while they're camping, and sometimes it's a story that's being told. In like an hour video, there's like 6 stories. They're all like 7 or 8 minutes each. Um, and those are interesting, but a lot of them now are AI. And you can hear it's AI because it's not pronouncing the words correctly. It's not reading the punctuation correctly. It's not pausing for the right amount of time when it's going through, and you can hear it. A human can tell the machine's mistake. But so many of the channels are just that anymore. It's just it's just a big presentation with ginned up language over the top of it. So some of them are good, some of them aren't. I would prefer. Do you have a CD player? Do we? I don't know. We used to have a combination DVD VHS. I had that for a long time because it covered both. That's gone. I don't know. It's a car. We have a CD player in the car. That's it. Because our car is a little bit older. I mean, it has Bluetooth. It has all the stuff you can connect, but it does have a CD player in the car. And he does buy CDs to play in the car. Our neighbor upstairs, the one I don't really like, but God love him. He's really into music, so he'll burn Mark sorts of CDs and stuff. Small creator channels with real people. Well, you found the right people, Thunderbird. We're not small, but we're creators. I've always liked the intimacy of smaller channels. Now, I watch bigger channels for the entertainment value, but as far as finding a place to like hang out or get to know people, or people you see every so often, you commit their name to memory, or you remember a comment they made about something a while back, and there's like a feeling of community there. Even if you're not speaking into that community, you're still part of it. There's a belonging that it kind of does. So, oh, cool. Definitely send it along. Definitely. Vicious. I have not seen Vicious. Or is that Viscous? So, good God. Well, the ramen went down okay. I will say cheers for that. Because I was a little concerned it wouldn't. On the tummy front, we're doing about the same, if not a little better. Just for a quick health update, things are the same, if not better. So, happy to report. We got pizza last night because we were having I want to get pizza kind of mood, and I wanted, like Mark said, I want regular pizza. Nothing chicken, bacon, ranch, nothing foofy, no cauliflower crust. So we ended up ordering from a place called Samario's. And it was just what we wanted. Big Neapolitan pizza. Mark wanted raw tomato on half of it, so I got half of it for that, and then half of it plain for me, and it was delicious. It was exactly what we were looking to do. So, yeah, they're trying to replace. Well, they're more reliably producing, I guess, but you're not going to get it. You're not going to be able to take it away. You're not going to get rid of that human element. I guess to the credit of the AI people, I think a lot of people don't know that what they're listening to or what they're watching is artificial and not real. And I don't mean like tricky stuff. Like I don't mean like faking the news or making up fraudulent videos or anything like that. Not that either. Just a deception. It would be just like if you found out now. By the way, guys, I don't exist. I haven't been real the whole time. This has been a 7-year experiment to see how many people we could rope in. See? And I pull the face off and I'm a robot underneath. It's like Scooby-Doo. So. Smith, thank you for coming. You have a great weekend. Very, very much so. I have to keep remembering it's Saturday now. And I was off on Friday, so I was all screwed up. AI on the audiobooks. Yeah, I mean, it's fine, but I don't think AI is a good reader. There's no inflection. There's no whiskey voice. There's no little pause for breaths. It's not like a person reading. It's a computer, a robot reading. Maybe that's good for clarity, but it's not good for feeling. I don't know. Robot Steve pronounces the words correctly. He tries. He tries. I was a word geek. I always was. When we did our SATs in high school, the perfect score on an SAT when I was in high school was 1600. There was no writing element to it, nothing else. It was 800 math, 800 verbal. I think I got 2 wrong on the verbal, on the whole section, but my math was average to below. So my total composite score was a little flattering, not much, given the deficits to my mathematical understanding. And that's the kind of thing you just can't fake. You either know it or you don't. And it's the kind of thing, if I would skip 2 days of school, I'd be lost for another month until we started a new topic. Because I wouldn't know what the hell was going to be on the test. I'd always be scrambling the day before, trying to find out what I missed, trying to learn how to do calculus on the fly. I was okay at calculus, but I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't think the creators of calculus probably liked calculus. So, should have taken art. There was options. I could have taken the academic classes, or I could have taken something a little more, how do you say, easier, more available, more accessible curriculums, that kind of thing. So I could have taken art, music, journalism, current science. So barely made it to nursing school because your math's so bad. I've heard a couple friends, specifically nursing actually, that the math was tough. One of my besties' mom, she had a midlife career change. He was a senior in high school. I guess she would have been about mid-40s, late 40s probably. And she went back, got her LPN, and then her RN after that. 2 gay guys living together. A lot of episodes on YouTube. British and very funny. Oh, British! I like a good British joke every so often. Right now I'm listening to British podcasters talk about 1990s wrestling. OSW. Old school wrestling. I don't know where these guys are from. Somewhere across the pond. But they do commentary on old wrestling like specials, like the WrestleMania or Survivor Series, WWF type stuff, the big stuff. And because I've seen all those 1,000 times, it's like watching it with friends. It's that connection that you get with another creator. I don't know these guys. Their channel's huge. I doubt I ever will. But for an hour or two, we got to sit there and I was nodding and laughing along with their comments like I was sitting in the room with them. Now, to the extent that technology can recreate that, I think that's cool. But you start adding other stuff into it. Like, I don't want AI commentary. Like, what's the angle? What's the line of the joke? It's still going to have to, I don't know. Was it taught that joke from another AI? You know, we don't have great comedians to program them anymore. But I want AI to, like, do the dishes and shit. Like, I don't want it to rewrite, you know, the Great American Novel. I just want it to, like, I don't know, somewhere I can just pull in and, you know, they just charge the air conditioner for you, do the oil change. I want all AI, like, auto work. I know they already do some robot, like, surgery and stuff. So that's not brand spanking new. That's been done. So I'm sure it'll be into that direction. The way it's been discussed, a lot of positions will just be eliminated because they won't be necessary anymore. People can be eliminated. We'll see. Remember when what was it? Self-checkout started. Everyone was like, it's gonna put people out of business. They didn't close any of those checkout lines. They just only hire 2 people. And then they have 1 person watching 6 registers. And down there's 1 for 1. So I get it, but you know, and where are we left now? After a while, we still have the self-checkout and we still have cashiers. There's a rollback. Every so often an agency will be like, we're doing things differently. We're bringing it back to the family, back to the this. And you get a place like Wegmans, you know, where they only exclusively use paper bags now if you don't bring your own. So there's some companies that take a different angle, I guess. Whole Foods, Wegmans, we had one here for years. I know they're new some places, the supermarket. They're rated one of the 10 best employers. You lost your job. It's Saturday, we're early. You lost your job because of AI. I'm sorry to hear. I fear that's going to be a lot of people's situation. And to some extent, for the speed of progress that's want and demanded, some people's careers and they're going to be casualties of it. For the sake of progress, we have to give up this. You know, in order to have this, we have to tolerate that. I'm really getting sick of the idea that to, like being manipulative, as long as we talk about Foodie, being manipulative and sneaky, like not cheating on your taxes, but getting through this tax, like that kind of thing, used to be considered grimy or manipulative. Now it's considered smart. And if you're not doing it, you're too much of a too wishy-washy. You're too you're not stern enough. I don't get it. Oh, transcription. Okay. Yeah. And then what other... And so where does that leave any of us now? If my job is eliminated, I have to go learn a new career at 43. It's done. People do it. But I think I'd probably end up working at hourly jobs for a while where I'd barely scrape by. You know, I work in human services. We don't make a ton of money. But I've been at the same job for 10 years. So to that end, I make, you know, a fair amount because I've been with the company for a while. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I don't like the Mean Boys Club. I don't like this, well, we're going to get one over on you, and we're going to do it right to your face, and you can't do anything about it. And being unkind is considered a good business skill. That you don't want to get chewed up and spit out. You don't want to be too beta male, too woke, too this, too that. But look at the alternatives. So, I don't know. Anyway, we're bringing it back down. We're coming to the hour, you can tell, because I'm losing my mind. So thank you all for joining me tonight, and thank you for being here. We had a nice little crew. Please give a thumbs up if you'd be so inclined. We had about 70 or 80 people here. That's a nice dinner time. It's a nice time to hang out. We caught up a little bit with Foodie. I'll keep an eye on her, and then we'll check in next week. Or if anything dramatic happens, maybe I'll film something for the middle of the week. But otherwise, we're just going to lay low here for the rest of the weekend. Mark's going to have a video out tomorrow or Monday, probably. So you'll see him next. I just don't know when. And that's pretty much it. Camp SSAM is in the works, too. I've been ironing backdrops for the last 2 days, so that's en route, so keep an eye out. And I hope everybody has a good weekend and the start of the week. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe. Hit the notification bell. You'll get alerts when we have new videos and go live. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All our contact information's below. Thanks, and we'll catch up with you very, very soon. Y'all be good to yourselves and to each other, okay? Bye. Say goodbye, Mark. He's still outside. Bye from Mark.